XRP versus SpaceX. Today, we break down the facts and the numbers behind the ROI that each one of these investment opportunities could give you. I'm not here to tell you what to do or give you financial advice, but we are going to lay out the facts, which is if we assume, and it's a big assumption, I guess, that XRP is going to $10, that would be an 800% ROI or a 9x return on investment. Now, for SpaceX to give you that same ROI, we'd be looking for SpaceX to go from just shy of that $2 trillion valuation it went public at to a $15 trillion market cap. Now, $15 trillion market cap, this is bigger than the three most valuable companies on Earth combined. So today I'm laying out the numbers side by side, help you make the decision. And it is June 2026 as we record this update. It's Monday, June 15th to be exact. And we got SpaceX trading up on its second day of trading over a $2 trillion market cap. XRP moving back up as well. But as I put together the numbers here, we're just going to round off and keep the math simple. XRP at a $70 billion market cap. SpaceX at a $1.75 trillion valuation as it went IPO. What is the better opportunity? Now, for the new folks here, my name is Zach Rector. We cover current events, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell if you appreciate what we're doing. And let's get right on into the math. So, as I'm recording this, XRP was down at $1.13 over the weekend. That was the $70 billion market cap. We've traded back up a little bit here this morning, but I'm just going to run with the numbers that I originally pulled to make the math simple for everybody to understand. So XRP, 62 billion circulating supply on the tokens. And this gives us that $70 billion market cap. Well, we're looking here, XRP going to $10. This would take the market cap to $600 billion, right? From $1.13 to $10 is around 9 times your money, about 800%. And at $10 with 62 billion tokens in supply, XRP's market cap goes from 70 billion to roughly $620 billion. Now, sit with that number for a second, right? $620 billion. That's a massive number, but in the world of global finance, cross-border payments and tokenized assets and the utility that we see XRP targeting, it's not only, relatively low, it's actually just a drop in the bucket, right? And of course, we're not making an apples to apples comparison, a clean, pure comparison, because we're comparing a stock of an individual company versus a technology, right? A currency, a settlement layer for a new financial system. Not apples to apples, but for where should I put my money today? We're comparing the investment opportunity, right? And so we got to look at the market cap and the proper way to use market cap here, which is to understand the amount of tokens that are in supply versus today's price. That's what gives us the market cap. Now, one variable that I want to mention that could change this equation, something to be considered, is with 62 billion circulating supply, between now and the next 5 years, that circulating supply is going to grow. Now, is it going to go to the full 100 billion circulating supply and total supply of XRP? Probably not. Right, but between somewhere at 62 billion circulating supply today and 100 billion total supply, right? If you wanted to just take the fully diluted value, which instead of taking the circulating supply times today's price to give us that market cap, the fully diluted value takes total supply times price to give you the fully diluted value. That's a different number. And, at a 100 billion circulating supply, $10 XRP, that would still only be a $1 trillion market cap. So both of these numbers are doable, right? Whether we're at the 600 billion market cap number or the 100 billion fully diluted value, we're talking about XRP at a $10 price. Very doable for XRP from a price standpoint and very reasonable from a market cap standpoint or a fully diluted value standpoint when you're looking at the 600 billion to the $1 trillion valuation that we would be looking at. And it doesn't change the thesis. Even in the worst case for my argument, XRP having to support a full $1 trillion market cap at $10, that's still a fraction of what SpaceX has to do for the same return. So I'm flagging it as a variable to consider, but does it change our thesis? No, and you're going to find out why here next. So when we look at SpaceX, right, this company just went public, record-breaking IPO, the largest one we've ever seen. Not only did it have the largest IPO as far as capital that they raised, right, from the public offering, but also it went public at the largest valuation ever, $1.75 trillion. Now, for SpaceX to deliver that 9x that I'm projecting for XRP, and many of you guys are going to comment down below and tell me how conservative a $10 XRP is. Right? And when I'm looking at timeline, this could happen in a year, even 3 to 5 years out. Right? Let's say it takes 5 years for XRP to reach $10. I think many people say it'll happen sooner. But worst case scenario, right? To make this comparison and to keep it conservative and to remove our XRP bias. Everybody knows we love XRP, but we remove all of that. Right? And we go with the worst case scenario. It takes 5 years to reach $10. Can SpaceX go to a $15 to $16 trillion valuation in that same time period? That is the comparison that we have to make. Right? SpaceX has to go from a $1.75 trillion IPO valuation to $15.75 trillion to give you the same ROI that you would get investing in XRP now and riding XRP up to just a $10 price target. Now, a $15 trillion valuation, I'm sure that we'll eventually have a company reach that level, right? NVIDIA, I think, is just shy of about $5 trillion right now. But when you combine the largest 3 companies in the world as it stands right now, they don't equal $15 trillion. So for SpaceX to go there, we're literally talking about creating a new reality, which I understand that's part of SpaceX mission, right? Big, and I want to be very clear. I'm not here to FUD SpaceX. I'm not here to knock Elon Musk. I mean, first trillionaire, sure. I'm not here to say that he shouldn't be a trillionaire or anything silly like that. I wouldn't waste our time talking about so there is some of that rhetoric and that chatter. I'm here to celebrate Elon Musk becoming the first trillionaire. I'm here to celebrate our capital markets having its largest IPO ever. But in reality, we have to understand what happened here. SpaceX went public after 20 years of raising a boatload of money in the private equity market. In the private capital markets, in the early investors, the accredited investors, the qualified purchasers, the VCs, the funds that got in on SpaceX over the past 20 years, those are the people who are making the big money. Is retail Joe Blow coming in here to buy SpaceX at a $2 trillion valuation? Do they have an incredible opportunity in front of them? Maybe, right? But I just look at the odds of XRP going to $10 over the next 3 to 5 years versus SpaceX going to a $15 trillion valuation over the next 3 to 5 years, which is more likely, right? Have we seen cryptos go to a 600 billion market cap before? Absolutely, right? Bitcoin has, Ethereum has. We have seen this before, and it's well within our reach for XRP to go to that valuation. And I've ran through the numbers with the market cap multiplier on how little money would actually have to inflow to XRP for us to go up to that market cap. We don't need 600 billion of new capital coming in for us to go to that valuation. We've shown that math time and time again. And, a lot of people coming from a traditional background investing in stocks, right? It's really hard for them to grasp that. How could XRP go to a $600 billion market cap, right? And we really blew their minds with XRP just going to a $150, $200 billion market cap last year. They couldn't comprehend that, right? But just like they struggled to see it when we reached a $200 billion market cap, their heads are going to explode when we reach a $600 billion to a $1 trillion market cap, which is in the near future for XRP. Now, for SpaceX, we're literally would have to be, setting all new records, new all-time high for any one individual stock. And it's not just like barely peaking out to a new record level. It would be, 3 times bigger than the largest company right now, NVIDIA, or larger than the three largest companies combined. So either way you look at it, that's an incredible leap for SpaceX to make versus XRP, right? Now, I'd love to see it happen for the SpaceX investors. I just think that the odds of XRP giving us that ROI are much, much greater. To bring all this home, right? I think that this is a great lesson that the money, the real money in the stock market that's made over there in the equity markets is made in the private space. It's made as an accredited, and by the way, I have a huge issue with this. I'm fighting for this. I wish that they would change these laws, but that's one of the reasons why the rich get richer is because the rich and the accredited investors have the opportunity to invest in private equity. Meanwhile, retail, Joe Smith, who wants to invest $10,000 in SpaceX, the regulators in the way that they've set this up, they say Joe Smith, he shouldn't have that ability. He shouldn't have that freedom to invest in a private company. I think that that is morally wrong, completely backwards from what this country was founded on. But I could sit on my pedestal all day here and cry about that. It's not going to change it. I mean, we hopefully will. Hopefully we will change it. But as it stands right now, this should sit as a perfect example of all the early VCs, all the early private equity getting to cash out and dump on retail's head with this SpaceX IPO. That's just my 2 cents. Not to say that people still can't get an ROI and still make some money buying SpaceX today. I'm not going to say that that's not possible. It definitely is. It probably will happen. But should I buy XRP or should I buy SpaceX today? For me, the answer is very clear. Very clear. And that's why I'm buying more XRP. And that's why I am not carrying, I'm not buying into the hype, and I'm not trying to buy any SpaceX right now. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. Is XRP or SpaceX a better investment opportunity here in June of 2026? And if you guys are looking to get your assets in institutional grade custody, our sponsor, iTrust Capital, has 3 solutions for you. The IRA solution for your retirement funds, the premium custody account for just pure institutional grade custody, completely free. And then they also have rolled out the premium custody treasury account for your business, your trust, your nonprofit. You made an LLC for holding alternative investments or digital assets, right? This is set up for you right here. 3 different products with one simple goal: institutional quality platform to every person that wants to invest in digital assets. I wish that we had this type of solution when I was getting started investing in crypto in 2018 and 2019. But the good news is for the new people, or even for the seasoned investors in this space, the solution is made available for everybody here, and it's free institutional grade custody, US-based customer support. This is truly unmatched service, and I've set up and I created my premium custody account. It took me 5 minutes, literally. So it's a simple process. Use my link down below, fund your account, and get that $100 funding bonus, and see for yourself why we love that institutional grade custody and that US-based customer support experience so much. But with that being said, if you guys appreciated this update and this comparison, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and come on back tomorrow. We'll be live Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern for the live show schedule. Hope to see you there. God bless you all.